My name is Daniel Lombard. I am the Global Process Owner for Elsevier. I am talking about UiPath. I work in the finance function, so typically implementing it within our finance accounting hub that we have out in Manila, where most of our processes are stabilized and globalized, etc. So it's a very good fit to have our processes automated out in Manila. I think it's the ease of use for the developer, so we can actually make use of people within subject matter experts rather than having fully fledged developers. So that's one of the main features, and I think based on that, it is actually the speed in which we can deliver some of these automations. So the delivery and the build of the bots is actually much quicker than your conventional development. So those will be my two top points at this stage. We're quite early in the stages of implementing our robots, but at this stage you already see things like our customer satisfaction. So we're supporting our finance team, so they are already getting benefit in it, and very much tedious tasks that sitting with the team, they're actually finding it that they don't need to do the tedious tasks. Funny enough that out in the Philippines, they are actually welcoming robotics because it creates capacity for them in order to bring more work into our accounting hub. So that would be where I can see a real benefit in our organization already. I think we very much focus on traditional development opportunities, so API to API connectivity and those type of things are very much the way that we're doing things. We have development teams out around the world that develop, and I specifically work with in the finance function, so develop our finance systems. Typically more of a traditional development focus rather than using robotics opportunities. But we are starting to see robotics becoming a bit more prominent. People are more interested in it, and people are starting to engage a bit more with the robotics side of things. So I think the benefit of using robots is actually becoming a bit more visible within the organization. Again, we're starting out at the beginning stages, so we're making use of attended bots. Unattended bots are, of course, a huge benefit. I can see in the future, if I use the 80-20 rule, I can see probably 80% of our bots will be unattended, where we will implement 20% into attended bots for our organization at the moment. I don't know how that will look like if we say, everybody in the organization using bots, then of course attended bots will become very prominent. But where we are right now, I can see unattended bots will become very attractive for us right now. So probably seeing the bigger opportunities at the moment, and those big opportunities unattended bots will be well suited for. It is difficult to get your head around attended and unattended bots, but once you get to understand the differences, I think, I can see benefits and pros and cons on both sides. But typically where we are now, we use attended bots. I can see us moving with our bigger opportunities into unattended bots. And where the future takes, I don't know. I'll let you know then. We've created for instance, an example. We've created a bot within our collections team. We are doing a reconciliation, and since implementing the bot, which was at the beginning of this year, we didn't need to go and do any changes onto the bot. Scalability, very much so. So exactly that reconciliation bot we were able to apply to different reconciliations within our collections team, and therefore, yes, it's very much scalable as well. So we are running 4 different bots at this stage for our collections reconciliation process. I think we probably make use of the community more, so asking questions within the community forum. I've not really had to engage with technical support directly with UiPath, apart from our salesperson that we could ask questions from, etc. But generally, the technical questions are more posted onto the discussion forum and answers being given and taken from there. So our proof of concept was done using PwC, and they've helped us build our proof of concept. The reason for that is they've delivered a piece of work where we wanted to see whether they've already been delivering a piece of work where this really fell into, so we engaged with them and asked them to help us deliver a proof of concept, and that was very successful, and of course that helped us roll out it more into the business and taking it on board more as a BAU type of activity rather than continuous support from PwC. I think it is coming from a person that doesn't know much of robotics or anything of that, as it's a new technology. I think it was quite difficult to get your head around at first, yes. Setting it up, installing the software is very easy, etc. But getting a grasp and understanding of the difference between the studio, the difference between the robots, the difference between orchestrator, I think in that regard it was quite difficult to get your head around. Not only for us who's been setting up the Centre of Excellence, but also for explaining to the business the different components and then them just understanding what the different components does. And I think it's maybe more around terminology. We're building a bot that's running on a bot, but the building of the bot is in studio. So I think just those type of things make it quite, it's not a difficult concept, it's very easy, but it makes it difficult for the business to understand what we're talking about and what we're working in and what actually runs the bot and those type of things. So we are using it sometimes with a kind of a Citrix environment. I think it's quite difficult. It takes more time to develop the bot itself. Accuracy is maybe a bit of an issue there. So from a Citrix type of environment, I probably try to avoid it from my side, but it's just because I don't like to work with the images. I'd rather work directly within hotkeys or whatever. We are starting to see a return on investment. I won't be able to answer that right now, probably only be able to answer once I start analysing it, but we are starting to see a return on investment. I think it will probably take a good few months before I can analyse on how well we are doing. I think fairly soon we see a return on investment, yes. Does it fit in with the business, what they expect? I don't know. That's a given that the solution absolutely does. So if I come back to our original example of the reconciliation bot within our collections area, I think there's almost 100% human error eliminated. The bot doesn't make any errors. So we've seen it running smoothly for the last, since the beginning of the year, so the last 9, 10, 11 months. Very much so. Again, I can't give you an exact answer right now. I think my answer will be based if I take again the collections bot. That typically was done by a human being, taken about 4 hours of a human being's time twice a week, so it's 8 hours a week. And the bot does it in 30 minutes, so that's 8 hours down to 1 hour per week, so a huge improvement. I think I would rate the product probably at about an 8, which is coming down to the usability. It's really easy to use. It is easy to implement and roll out, getting people involved. I think there is drawbacks in terms of the understanding of where the process is, so it's maybe on our side, understanding the process and which processes are suitable for the bot and what the bot will be able to do then with those. I think taking subject matter experts and giving them the expertise to build bots limits your ability to understand the full capacity of the product. I think there's a lot of things changing within the product very quickly, and to keep up with all of the enhancements that you're making makes it a little bit difficult. But overall, it is very good, and if you apply it correctly to your processes, you will definitely see an improvement in your process and return on your investment.